Hey, how are you? Today, I want to do something a little bit different. Something that actually makes me quite uncomfortable, which is speaking to you, to the camera, in public. I've simply moved from that spot because that's usually where the spot I go to, and it's always quiet. Now, of course, the day I decide to film in public and speak to the camera alone, there's a whole school of primary and secondary kids. So I'm moving spots. I'm looking for another spot with some bars because let me take you through today's video. Basically, what I want to do is just talk to you a little bit about some life lessons. I think 3 in specific I have that I want to take into 2026 and onwards. And whilst I do that, I take you through my workout. This spot seems to be pretty good. I found this rather taller bar, which I need obviously for the pull-ups, which is an area that I really need to focus on and improve because I can't do more than 5 or 6 at a time. And I found this bar, which is actually probably really useful, is a lower one like this, where I can do like a reverse pull down, reverse bar pull down, essentially. So, found this beautiful spot. I'm with the dog. See that little bar, this one, and I'll use that one. Let's go. I do wanted to show you something that I like to eat before a workout. It's probably not the healthiest thing because it's just sugar, but it's this little square here. I think wrapped in this natural plantain leaf, I think, and little red square, which is bocadillo. Gives energy. Okay. Then. Good job. Job, Bella. The first one, being one of the most important ones, is actually prioritizing myself, my well-being, my needs, what I truly want, what my soul speaks to me. And why it's so important, because after so many years really, I've realized that I've been neglecting myself and just focusing on others first and putting the priority on others instead of me. Essentially, I've grown up as a people pleaser, which ultimately obviously is not a bad thing because you're a service of people, but it has more negative effects to me, but then obviously to people ultimately and to the community. Let me bring you with me and show you what I'm actually doing instead of telling you, because that's the whole point, isn't it? Show don't tell. So let me bring you here like this. Let's see if that works. See if that's stable. So yeah, prioritizing myself, prioritizing my needs. And when you don't do that, when you don't truly listen to what your soul speaks to you about, what your soul craves, what you need, and as a human as well, as a man, putting others first, whether it's your family, your friends, any other people that sort of maybe distract you or just want you for something or need you for something. It's important to have good discernment. When you have good discernment in judging and figuring out if helping that person over you, over your needs, or over what, you know, let's say over your self-priority, it's still very important, because then you also don't just turn out to be alone. Because if you only prioritize yourself, you only think about yourself, then you do just become extremely selfish, and there's a limit as well. I think if you go over that limit, then you just stay alone. You don't have friends, you don't have family, they just leave you alone after too long. So I think obviously with everything in life is to have balance. And when you practice even that discernment in judging whether, okay, now is the time to listen to myself, or now's the time to, you know, to be of service to other people, to help them, or just to go out with them. If they want to take a drink with you, go out with them. You know what I mean? If they really feel the need, and it's not a bad thing either, obviously, but to have also discernment, say, no, look, this is a period where I need to focus more on myself. Like now, for me right now, start of the year, I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of things I want to do, what to build. I have a big goal, as I've talked about in my last video. I've got a very big goal, and I want to achieve it as much or as close as possible that I can get to there. So that will require me to truly prioritize myself, saying no when I need to say no. You know what I mean? Let's go for the second set. Meta's just looking at me. So you lock the shoulders, and we can be as explosive as possible. Obviously, the more horizontal you are, the more difficult it is, because you got more weight. You're basically pulling more of your weight. Because my back is not that strong, this is a good exercise for me actually. If you don't say no to things or to people, you're letting yourself go. You're betraying yourself, you're betraying your soul, you're betraying your mission and your goals. And that has a completely negative effect to you, to other people, to community, to your purpose, to your mission, to everything. So with a limit, with a good discernment, saying no and prioritizing yourself is my way to go. Something I need to truly learn, which I am. I've learned a lot already, and I've improved in that part of life. But of course, I've still got, I think, let's call it a long way to go, but a beautiful long way. So yeah, let me do a third set, and then I'll talk to you about the life lesson number 2. Let's go. What I like to do is sort of put my hands shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider. You go down, straight legs, important. Engage the core, straight back, put the shoulders back, and like this. It's similar to the first one, to saying no, to prioritizing yourself. And it's basically trusting yourself. I've sort of always struggled with that. Trusting yourself, or trusting myself. I'm talking about myself. Now, is that because of insecurity? because of lack of self-belief. Even though I've always been relatively quite confident, but again, not in every area of life. And one of them is to truly believe in myself so I can trust myself. And even if I don't believe in myself, we can fake it till you make it. And that's where you trust yourself enough that you will begin to believe in yourself. Does that make sense? So yeah, trusting yourself. One big example that I have recently, which was last year, was that I finally trusted myself enough to take a big leap alone. The decision ultimately, obviously, only lies from me. And that self-belief that everything will work out, that self-belief that it is the right path for me to take, is really rewarding. Even if obviously there's a lot of challenges, even right now, coming through in life general, the way life hits you. Despite that, I trusted myself enough to come here, to move to Colombia, and to move in with my girlfriend. Even if I didn't have a full plan, a full security, a full backup thing, really, I just was like, you know what? This is the right thing for me that I need to do now. And just take that leap of faith, that jump, that step into the unknown. And when you do that, when you take that leap, when you take that jump, to have enough self-belief, but also enough trust in God that He will catch you no matter what. And that everything will be okay. Even if it's difficult, even if you'll face challenges, you'll stay strong. You'll have to stay strong. It'll build you to be stronger in order to face even tougher challenges. So that self-trust, that self-belief really comes in handy, comes in essential to your life, to your being, to your confidence even as a man, to walk life with your chest. Second sip. Let me tell you, the most humbling experience for me is exactly this. Pull-ups. Straight pull-ups from this one. Not like this where you can focus more on the biceps and get more help from the biceps. But the pure pull-ups. So humbling for me. It feels almost embarrassing for me to show that I can only do 3 because I want to reach a level of body control, a level of strength where you can not only see it, but then also be it, to be that strong, visually and mentally and physically. So yeah, trust yourself. Do it scared. Do it scared. I did it scared. I was scared to take that leap. It's always scary, really, but with enough trust and enough self-belief, you'll be fine, and everything will turn out to be fine. And if it doesn't, then you'll find a way. You'll find a solution. You'll be all right. My third life lesson came to me quite recently, is to take more control of my life, to take control of my body and my spirituality. That comes in with planning. It starts with simply planning your life more. Now, when I say that is, I have a plan, I have a vision, I have a mission that I'm working towards, working as, but I see it much more as a long term. And sometimes I stay too much in my head, too much in my dreams, too much in my, that I forget to stay more present, more grounded on this grass here, on the feet, and I sort of let life go. I get comfortable, and that results in more spontaneous days, which sometimes, obviously, spontaneity is good, but to have more structure in your day-to-day life. So what I actually started doing with my girlfriend this last weekend actually, is to meal prep for the coming week. So we'll meal prep for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because that's all the space we had on the board. And we let the 2 days for now free, whether we go out or there's some spontaneous plans on that days. But to have that plan in place actually gives you freedom of mind, peace of mind. So essentially, in one sentence, to summarize everything, is that systems is freedom. Planning is freedom and is peace. To be fair, when it came to systems, what I started doing last year is, with my close friend Omar, is to have one call a week simply for accountability, to keep each other accountable, so we can't bullshit each other. What did you do this week? What did you achieve? Why did you not do what you said you were going to do last week? And then we explain, we talk, and we say, either if it's just procrastination, excuses, whatever it is, it's not moving you towards your mission, towards your dreams, towards your goals. So let's rectify, let's work on it, and let's stop the bullshit, and keep that system in place. Be consistent, be disciplined. So with that, amongst that, we also started working on an operations hub, which then I've sort of modified it to suit more my style and my sort of way of working. And using Notion, I built an operation hub where I keep daily habits as a tick. So I could have pray. So the non-negotiables in the daily habits would be to pray, to work, to deep work, for at least 2-3 hours, to work out like this or boxing or whatever, and do things like this. Then to also have a to-do list where I have everything what I need to do with different priority statuses, whether it's a high priority, middle priority, or I can focus on it a bit later. As well as a tracker, monthly tracker and weekly tracker, to again keep myself accountable without the need for someone else. I think that's also important, to have that sort of system in place for yourself when sometimes the other person can't make it that week, or obviously he's not there with you 24/7. You're only there with yourself 24/7. So having those systems in place guarantee you some level of freedom and peace of mind to move forward. That removes even the overthinking. Second set. So yeah, systems. That's basically the 3 life lessons I wanted to give. The lessons that I've wrote in my bullet points to sort of freestyle, which is very uncomfortable for me, to not have a clear script or structure. But it is something I want to work on more, to simply talk to you like this. Even if it doesn't have the best structure, it's fine, we're having a conversation. I'm just talking to you as a friend, which you are. So, but the working out does make me think about another point that I do want to say, which I'll say after this set, because I want to go. What I do want to mention, let's give it like a bonus life lesson, is that discipline is important in every area of your life, not just working out. And I think I've been missing a little bit of that aspect, where I was very easily disciplined when it comes to working out. And when it comes to doing things that I love, even if it's... I could easily stay on my laptop 4 or 5 hours, just doing the things I love, working, editing, whatever it is. But when it comes to things that are a bit more, not difficult, not necessarily difficult, but just things that I don't really like doing, I just don't enjoy, it's more difficult to stay disciplined in those areas of life. But it's necessary. And sometimes those boring tasks, day-to-day boring tasks, are probably the most important when it comes to staying disciplined. Because those are the tasks that actually move the needle towards your goals, towards your dreams, and towards being true to your mission. So, yeah. That's all for today. Wasn't my best workout because I was also just focusing on speaking properly and saying the right things, and I don't just, what's the word, ramble about nonsense. I hope this was clear. Let me know if you've actually reached the end of this video. It might be a little bit long, I don't know, I'll see in the editing. But yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.